reinforced with his comments on Brett Baer refusing to apologize for disrespecting the president and the American people in the Oval Office. The President Zelensky was in the White House today and had a real chance to sign an economic agreement that would have been great for the American people to recoup our tax dollars and great for the Ukrainian people to rebuild their country. And unfortunately, he blew the deal up in his own face.
Señores, ayer sin duda alguna fue uno de esos días oscuros en la historia de los Estados Unidos. Y para qué negarlo, ¿no? Uno de los momentos más vergonzosos que hemos visto de un presidente. Yo creo que fue difícil sentirse orgulloso de ser estadounidense el día de ayer. La verdad es que ha sido muy difícil desde que Donald Trump apareció en escena desde el primer mandato. Pero hasta este momento, lo de ayer fue completamente bochornoso. Lo peor, amigos, es que no se detuvieron. No solo fue el desastre inicial, sino que luego de lo que vimos con Zelensky, su gente salió a atacar a Zelensky con un nivel de bajeza, amigos, que ya no parece normal. Lo peor es que, o bueno, lo más ridículo de todo, vino después, con su secretaria de prensa, Karoline Leavitt, la cual digamos que tuvo un berrinche en vivo, que por supuesto hoy vamos a analizar. Sean bienvenidos a Políticamente en Desacuerdo. Amigos, hoy veremos cómo la secretaria de prensa de Donald Trump prácticamente perdió el control mientras Zelensky contraatacó con un brutal ataque. Así que los invito a que se queden hasta el final de este video porque traemos los detalles y los momentos más interesantes. Ahora sí, amigos, antes de que vayamos de lleno con el berrinche por parte de Leavitt, quiero que escuchemos primero lo que dijo el presidente Zelensky, que con justa razón los dejó muy molestos. Veamos este clip.
Welcome back to Special Report, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Mr. President, thank you for the time today, especially on this day, to continue to do this interview. President Trump said after your meeting that you disrespected him and the Vice President and all of America in the Oval Office. Do you think you did, and do you think you owe an apology to President Trump?
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for the invitation for this dialogue, and good evening to all your country, to all Americans. I'm very thankful to Americans for all your support. You did a lot. I'm thankful to President Trump and to Congress bipartisan support. And I was always very thankful from all our people. You helped us a lot from the very beginning during 3 years of full-scale invasion. You helped us to survive. Anyway, we are strategic partners, and even in such tough dialogue, and I think we have to be very honest, and we have to be very direct to understand each other, because it's for us very necessary to President Trump, and I'm with all respect that he wants to finish this war, but nobody wants to finish more than we, because we in Ukraine, we are in this war, we are in this battle, for freedom for our lives. So I'm just telling that I think that we have to be on the same side, and I hope that the president on our side together with us, and that is very important to stop Putin. And I heard from President Trump a lot of times that he will stop the war, and I hope he will, and we need to pressure him with Europe, with all the partners. And I think this dialogue had to be a little bit earlier to understand where we are. Like, you know, I don't remember exactly, but like President Reagan said, that peace is not just an absent the war. Yes, we are speaking about just and lasting peace, about freedom, about justice, about human rights. And that's why I said that I think so, that ceasefire, and you know Putin, he broken 25 times ceasefire during all these years, 10 years.
So I'm not hearing from you, Mr. President, a thought that you owe the president an apology.
No, I respect President, and I respect American people, and if, I don't know, if, I think that we have to be very open and very honest.
Por supuesto, no tiene nada de qué disculparse, ¿no? Yo creo que es evidente que la gente de MAGA recibió hasta instrucciones sobre lo que tienen que decir. Porque amigos, todos salieron con los mismos argumentos. Y hasta tengo una pequeña teoría de lo que realmente pasó ayer. Pero lo vamos a analizar después de ver el colapso de Karoline Leavitt. Lo que sí amigos es bastante claro. Es que a Trump y a su gente les molestó que Zelensky no se arrodillara ante él. Dicen que le faltó el respeto. ¿Pero en qué momento? ¿Qué fue lo que dijo que les pareció tan ofensivo? Como siempre, nunca lo explican, porque no pueden. Solo se dedican a quejarse. Hay y otra cosa. Donald Trump no recibió suficientes halagos prorrusos de Zelensky y ahora están llorando. Hablando de lloriqueos, veamos un poquito del berrinche en vivo de Karoline Leavitt.
I think it remains to be seen. I defer to President Trump on what his next step is and what happens moving forward. But the president made his position quite clear today when he asked Zelensky and the Ukrainians to depart the White House. He feels as President Zelensky is not in the right mindset to negotiate peace. And I think, frankly, that was reinforced with his comments on Bret Baier refusing to apologize for disrespecting the president and the American people in the Oval Office. The president Zelensky was in the White House today and had a real chance to sign an economic agreement that would have been great for the American people to recoup our tax dollars and great for the Ukrainian people to rebuild their country. And unfortunately, he blew the deal up in his own face.
Amigos, quería mostrarles estos clips, porque como era de esperarse, Karoline Leavitt sigue con la misma historia, que Zelensky debería haberse disculpado, que fue irrespetuoso. Pero de nuevo, ¿cómo es que fue irrespetuoso? Exactamente, quiero una explicación. No lo dicen, pero lo que Laura Ingraham mencionó sí queda en el clavo. Amigos, esto fue un montaje, no hay dudas. Se sintió completamente armado. Los congresistas MAGA que estaban en la Casa Blanca salieron con los mismos discursos, literalmente como si alguien les hubiera pasado este guión. Amigos, trajeron cámaras, incluso la televisión estatal rusa estaba presente. Ni Reuters ni AP, pero sí los medios de Putin, como que aquí parece algo sospechoso, ¿no? Obviamente, todo estaba planeado para que Trump pudiera montar este show, ¿no? Fingir ser fuerte. Lo más importante para su presidencia no es gobernar, sino distraer. Distraer que su administración es un fracaso, que la economía se está desplomando, de que los aranceles que vienen van a disparar los precios aún más. ¿Pensaban que los huevos estaban caros? Pues prepárense porque van a subir mucho más. Y mientras tanto nos distraen con un espectáculo absurdo, ¿no? Eso lo hace peor aún. No es teoría conspirativa, es algo obvio. Fue un montaje. Lo mismo aplica para Karoline Leavitt. Pero bueno, tengo mucho más que decir, aunque creo que Cory Booker lo resumió mejor que nadie en este clip.
Joining us now is Senator Cory Booker, Democrat of New Jersey. He's a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Senator Booker, I'm really glad you could be here tonight. Thanks for making time.
Thanks for having me on a really awful day for our nation. Frankly, it's an awful day for Ukraine and our nation. The one nation that really is celebrating right now is Vladimir Putin in Russia.
What concerns you the most about that? What, for Americans who don't necessarily think about foreign policy that much, who don't think about America's role in the world, or if they do, don't think it affects their regular lives very much, what concerns you the most about us apparently abandoning our global stance of the entire modern history of our country and instead lining up with Russia and turning against our democratic allies?
I had a European leader in my office who came and asked to come meet with me privately to express his distress over Ukraine, who told me about what does it say about our world that for the first time to his knowledge we've ever seen in a UN resolution around the Security Council, America side with China and Russia in condemning what Putin did and not their European democratic allies. We are seeing a world shift right now that belies what Republicans and Democrats have been saying in lockstep. We've taken trips together over into Europe to stand with Ukraine. We've had Zelensky multiple times meeting with us as senators in private, him receiving standing ovations. We had a joint session of Congress where he addressed us and we stood up, and people have said time and time again that this is a stand not just in defense of Ukraine, but defense of democracy. And if we lose in Ukraine, then authoritarian leaders around the world will be more emboldened, and America will be dragged into more and more conflicts defending democracy against autocracy and authoritarianism. So this is a significant moment and a significant shift in American history where we have our president who is taunting a world leader, lying about his approval ratings, lying about who started the war, lying about who is the dictator, accusing Zelensky of being a dictator, not the obvious one in Vladimir Putin, taunting him before he came in. This is the guy who was impeached once. One of his 2 impeachments was over him trying to extort Zelensky, withholding weapons unless he got commitments to do his political bidding in his attacks against Joe Biden. This is a sad day for our nation. This is a shift in global geopolitics, and this is something that I am praying and hoping that we can overcome. But unfortunately, we're seeing a Republican Party right now that would rather bow to political pressure than stand tall for policies and principles.
Well, on that point, we have seen, for example, Senator Roger Wicker speak pointedly about Vladimir Putin and speak pointedly in defense of Ukraine. We saw him meet this morning with Volodymyr Zelensky and post a tweet of him shaking his hand and talking about how much he supports him, saying how much he was there to support him. He just quietly took that down after what happened today in the Oval Office. We saw Lindsey Graham go from meeting with Zelensky this morning and praising him and talking about his support for him to demanding his resignation as soon as Vance and Trump put on that display today. We saw Marco Rubio, who is until recently considered to be sort of a realpolitik Republican on foreign policy issues in the United States Senate. He sat there inert in the Oval Office today, saying nothing. Looking green, and then put out a boilerplate North Korea-style tweet of praise for Donald Trump as soon as it was done. What do you make about hope for Republicans showing any sort of resistance here? Is there any?
You know, again, this is a shift in our politics, that the Senate used to be a place where right or wrong, people would criticize a president when they stepped out of line, even one of their own party. And here is a situation that is so grave, and my colleagues know this because we meet with these leaders. I was in communication today.
Un espectáculo, ¿no, amigos? Pero a estas alturas, ¿realmente ya nos sorprende? Ya lo sabemos, nunca nos sorprende, pero siempre nos repugnan. Señores, hemos llegado hasta el final de este video. Como siempre, muchísimas gracias por haberme acompañado hasta el final. Si me quieren apoyar, regálame un like, comparte el video, suscríbete a nuestro canal. Políticamente Desacuerdo. Nos vemos en el próximo video. Hasta luego.